Ladies and gentlemen, this is Erik from Watain, and you're watching TV War.
Everybody gonna pray on the very last day. Oh, when they hear that bell.
Εδώ λοιπόν στο TV War του Mad και του Metal Hammer βρισκόμαστε στον εξώσι του Gagarin λίγη ώρα πριν οι Watain ανέβουν στη σκηνή και με πολύ μεγάλη χαρά φιλοξενούμε εδώ τον Erik Danielsson για να παίξουμε Under the Blade. Hey Erik, welcome to Greece. How are you doing, man?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great actually. Yeah, we have been out for nearly 2 weeks now.
All right.
Mostly to Eastern Europe. And great to get out of the East and into Greece.
All right. How was Thessaloniki last night?
It was actually great. Our best show in Thessaloniki, I think, so far.
All right.
You never know with this city, but I was very happy, yeah. And
Okay.
tonight it's Athens, so you know, we always know that it's great.
Wow, this one is the last Watain album, the Agony and Ecstasy of Watain. So, what do you think about this album nowadays? Did it serve the cause of the band?
I haven't really thought about it that way, but we are very pleased with how the
Right.
album turned out, absolutely. And it's a cool album to tour with because I think the energy on the album really reflects where we are as a group right now, you know. It's a very energetic and kind of a lively album, if you will, you know. So it's great to have like as the foundation for the tours we are doing now.
So, let's talk about 10 of your favorite albums.
Yeah,
the albums
exactly,
that made you the man you are today.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start from, but I think I can. Where is the Motorhead album? I'm going to start with Motorhead and Iron Fist,
Yeah.
which is the last album of the classic lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Well, I mean, Motorhead, I think to me is this. It's kind of like a life fuel in a way. You know, you can put on Motorhead and especially this album in any kind of circumstance, and it'll get you in the right mood for anything. You know. So I think it's like. For me, Motorhead is like kind of the on switch button to feel a bit more, you know, good and to like wake up from your fucking hungover or whatever
Yeah.
it is, you know, just get back in there.
Well, let's go to Sabbath. It's Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
The first album they did with Ronnie D on the vocals. So, what do you think about this one?
I think this album is actually the perfect symbolic album for epic heavy metal for me. You know, they're really like deeply dramatic and the epic side of heavy metal. And it's cool that we start with these two because they kind of represent two of the different like main foundations of the entire genre. I think this is pure raw power and this is like great solemn theatrical magical music, you know.
I see.
So I think the combination of those two is maybe where my heart is.
Okay,
you know?
great. Which one would you play now?
Today this morning I will probably go for Iron Fist.
All right. It's Ride the Lightning, man.
Yeah.
What about this one? Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, here you actually have some kind of a combination between the Sabbath
that's right.
and the Motorhead, you know. It has a lot of great drama in it. It has a lot of like almost like a movie inspired dramaturgy. Instrumental track called Cthulhu, I think is one of Metallica's finest moments, darkest moments as well, maybe. It's just a very atmospheric album, and at the same time, like totally powerful and forceful, you know. Yeah, just Metallica at their peak, I think.
So, what about between Motorhead and Metallica?
For today, I think I'd still go
All right.
Motorhead, actually.
Cool. Let's go to death metal now. The debut of Morbid Angel, a classic one in the death metal genre. Fantastic album.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's always a bit weird, you know, when you think about how long death metal has existed now and how many death metal records there are. But then when you go back to like one of the first ones, it's still top 3. You know, it's like no one managed to come up in this kind of magic again, almost. You know?
And the part of the music itself, the atmosphere is very haunting.
Yeah, it is. It's a dangerous fucking record, and I think it has a lot to do with the combination of all the members on this album. You know, I mean, especially maybe Trey and Pete, who are some kind of like I mean, that's next level fucking maniacs right there, you know. And you can hear it.
Yeah,
you
sure.
can really hear it. David Vincent was lucky to kind of get sucked into that chaos vortex, you know, and he did a great job.
I absolutely agree with this one. So, Motorhead or Morbidation?
Now it's starting to get stupid, but I'll go with Motorhead.
All right.
Yeah, great album.
Let's go to Niflheim, the Servants of Darkness.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when we speak about modern classics, or you know, like for Watain's part, like contemporary albums that were released during our time as a band, I think that this is definitely one of the most important ones. I think it's a little bit overlooked because I think a lot of people, when they think about Niflheim, have this kind of like, I don't know. I think people should really listen to this album because it's on another level than all other black metal, you know, of the modern day and age.
It's very intense. It's almost sick.
Yeah, it's very intense, but it has its roots always in AC/DC and Rainbow, you know. But it's totally possessed by diabolical things. You know, it's a very morbid and weird heavy metal album, I would say, and just written with total respect for the traditions of the genre, but also, you know, taking it into completely new places.
Right.
Brilliant songwriting and everything. Yeah, Motorhead.
Motorhead,
Yeah,
all
great.
right. So this is a very weird and very satanic, very dark and very fucked up album.
That's a good description.
Salvation, yes.
Yeah.
Very first album, Funeral Mist.
Yes, the first full.
Very strange band.
Yeah, you can say that. I think you know when black metal started happening in like late 80s, early 90s, people were almost afraid of this kind of music, and they were like, what is this? You know, this is too much. This is like music for insane people. This approach didn't last so long. It became like a lot of bands started copying each other. Everyone wanted to be like Mayhem. You know, it became like a kind of this feeling disappeared quite fast. Funeral Mist took it back for me. It's the only band that did that. That maybe along with 2 or 3 other bands. You know, Funeral Mist took black metal where it should have gone directly after Euronymous died. It took a bit longer, but with this album, they did what had to be done with black metal.
Yeah, listening to this album, even nowadays, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and it makes me feel that there is an impending doom coming or something like that.
Yeah, it's a very, it's a very, how to say, like it's not only music on this album. You know, there's more to it than that.
The way it should be.
Yeah, well, I think so. With if you want to make interesting things with black metal, or you want to hear where black metal can really go further, this is it.
All right. So, Funeral Mist or Motorhead?
Today, Motorhead.
Today, Motorhead.
Yeah.
Let's go with a third and last album of Dissection, right?
Exactly.
Rain Chaos.
So strange sometimes to think that they only did 3 albums, you know, but at the same time, it's like a beautiful thing somehow, you know, like 3 crown jewels. This album to me is of course crucial because we were very we were close to Dissection during this time, you know, after Jon got out of
You
prison.
played also with them on the last gig in Sweden, right?
Yes, I did the bass guitar for the 3 last shows, and I was involved a little bit in the layout of the album, along with my friend Timo, who passed away 2 years ago. And yeah, it's just, you know, when I turn 100 years old and we look back on my life, this album will be one of the, you know, dividing points.
All right.
It's really like a before and after Rain Chaos for me, you know.
So I have to keep which one?
Yeah, I mean, Rain Chaos for me is like an album that I put on in very solemn moments, special moments, kind of, you know. So today I would choose Iron Fist with Motorhead. Great album, still.
Right. Fields, Elysium.
Yeah, I've said sometimes in interviews before. I mean, this album is always on my lists, you know, and It's a little bit like the soundtrack of my life. I think it's one of the albums that I listen the most to in the whole world. It's just a perfect example of where music can become more than just songs and lyrics and so on. It's to me, I think this album is belongs together with Strange Days with Doors or the classic Pink Floyd albums, stuff like that. It's in the same league for me.
How was it when you cooperated with Kaimakamis on the waters of Watain?
Yeah, I mean,
that was a very big moment for you, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but it was like a symbolic thing for me also because Kaimakamis, I think, was one of the first singers that really inspired me to want to become a vocalist. And because he had this very like anti-rock star kind of thing going. He was more like a shamanic figure, like a wizard on the stage. And this, when I was 10 years old or something, was and still is to me like a very, that's a very noble way of doing what we do, as singers. So having him on this song, on Lawless Darkness from 2011, 10, something, was it was like a circle coming to a close. So very special for sure. So today it's definitely more a Motorhead day than a Fields of Metal.
It's a Motorhead day.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is a very important album. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Dissection, Storm of the Lights Bane.
Yeah, and I took both of those albums on this list because it's impossible for me to leave any of them out on a list like this. I mean, this album was my introduction to Dissection. I bought it on the same day that it came out. It had these huge promo posters in the metal record shop in our town, and I already knew them from fanzines, from interviews, but this was my introduction, and it made me, I don't know, I mean, I was used to listening to extreme stuff already, like, Entomb, Dismember, Carcass, Morbid Angel, stuff like that, but this connected the rawness and the extremity of those bands with everything that I loved with Metallica, Judas Priest, this kind of really big, bombastic heavy metal atmosphere. Plus, there was a third element coming from underneath, the satanic element, the really magical element of this music, which for me, it changed a lot of my views on what I really liked in music,
Okay.
It's still a Motorhead kind of day.
All right.
Yeah.
So I kept this one, last but not least.
Yeah, this is
Under the Sun of the Black Mark, the third Bathory album. I know you're a huge Bathory fan.
Yeah.
You have played a tribute concert. You have released a tribute album to Bathory, to Corton. So why is this album so important, and why Corton was the man?
I mean, I love everything that Bathory did.
You also like the epic albums?
I mean, Twilight of the Gods is the last album that I have a strong relation to. But that's already 5 albums, what is it? 6, yeah, exactly. For me, I could have chosen almost any of the other albums as well. But I choose this because I think it's the album that shows the best the combination of the epic elements and the really raw, primal origins of the band, from the first album. I think here is where Corton started to experiment even more with songs like Enter Eternal Fire or it's 13 Candles on this also. That's why I usually pick it if I have to pick one Bathory album, because I think it combines really all the elements, and it's an album full of classic songs. That's the final choice.
Yes.
Fuck. Yeah, but then I have to choose Bathory.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. So we have a winner, John. I was impressed. There were 5 black metal albums on this list, and no one came from Norway. All of them were Swedish. It's like a coincidence.
No.
No.
No, but I mean, it's impossible to choose 10 albums. I try to have a bit fun with it, and not make it too serious.
Okay.
Because if I start to become too serious, this will never even happen.
All right.
But and out of all of these albums, this is not my favorite. They are all my favorites, But I think somehow this personally to me, sure, I can stand for this being the last album left in this pile right now, you know, for sure.
Okay, Erik, that was it. Thank you very much for your time.
Of course.
I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you.
And we'll be there tonight enjoying the show.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.